What's up? Is DNA for sure. And I'm waiting on the bus, as you can, well, you can't see because it's dark. But a lot of people watch my videos and they say, they may think, like, what is this guy's deal? A lot of things that I say are really strange, and I hope that you meet somebody like me that's healed themselves and completely. But the 10 minutes, I'm going to use this to tell you my story as quickly as I can. All right. If you watched my last video, you know that I said that I read a lot of things that I shouldn't be reading and learning about, just because I don't have the emotional stability to accept that truth, or just to know certain things about human interaction, society, and just certain truths. So, I mean, the things that I learned, they're not always the best for me to start with. And I guess, I mean, I don't really care to make a video about that, but if you would like me to explain that, I'll explain what I mean when I say that. But, I mean, as far as human interaction and psychology and actually going out there to gain a little bit of street smarts or whatever, just interact with people and stop trying to fucking turn everything into a fucking college lesson and, journal on it and write essays about this shit. Instead of just experiencing it, I go too deep and then just not always end up failing, but in a way. I'm not a very hands-on person when it comes to learning my role or how to act in a society. But, I mean, it's not like I grew up under a rock. I actually grew up with 8 people in my house. From when I was born to about 8, then we moved. But I always lived within a village, within a tribe of people, and this big ass truck is about to come. But, I've been through a lot. First, I'm just gonna give you the highlights of my childhood and transformations that I made. But, moving away from my whole family, from that 8 family unit, it wasn't that hard on me because I was always over there, like every weekend, holidays and all that. That only lasted for a couple years. I didn't really see my dad like that. Maybe like once a month, probably. From what I can remember, it was only 3.5 years. That really had a big effect on me. I was afraid of him. I probably still am to this day, honestly. But that, and then, after I moved out of, even before that, I was going to a new school every somewhere between 3 seasons and a year and a half. So that affected me. I moved to Atlanta. I hated that shit. I moved to Atlanta when I was 10. I hated that shit with a passion for a long time. I didn't even come to enjoy Atlanta until after I got out of high school. Till I moved to Columbus, Georgia, and saw how great I had it in Atlanta. Because Columbus, Georgia is a shithole still right now. It's a small little country-ass city, so, they're like 5-10 years behind the rest of the world, the most modern fucking societies in America. As far as how they dress, how they talk, the words they use, the habits that everyone has, the hair, I think I already said how they dress, everything. It's really like crack just hit fucking Columbus, like in 2005 or some shit. Like stuff like that. But anyways, I was in See, my mom was the type of person where she just tried to keep me and my sister sheltered because she didn't want the outside world to really influence. Like I talk like my mom a lot. Some things I say, I talk like my mom, talk like my dad, I talk like a nerd, I talk like the homies, you know. Like I just bounce back and forth to how I feel it would be the easiest for me to communicate. But I was not allowed to go outside of the house a lot. Um, she never really gave me room to grow as a social person. Like my sister was allowed to go to all these clubs and events and motherfucking sleepovers all the time because she had good grades. You know, education was very important in my family, and because some things were not going right with me. As far as schooling, I wasn't allowed certain privileges, which is understandable, but at the same time was very detrimental to my social growth. I consider myself I am socially retarded, honestly. Like a retarded person, like someone who is mentally retarded or has a severe fucking learning disability or has a fucking low IQ, like social IQ is low as fuck because like the whole middle school thing, high school just wasn't. I wasn't getting out there. I wasn't like it was to the point where I would have be failing every class except for like two classes, and they would suggest that I would go out just because like, dude, you've been on punishment for the last fucking year. You keep doing bullshit. You keep acting out, but because it's been like half the year, we're asking you to fucking call somebody up and go outside. A lot of things have developed in personality stuffs, disorders, and all of that. But whatever, like I mean, I'm not exactly sure what to hit on specifically. Eh, When I was depressed basically from sixth grade to now, which is my whole life. I felt like when I was like 19 or 20, I felt like I was addicted to being depressed, which is not a real thing. But when I was happy or just content, I didn't feel right because I wasn't used to that. It was just feeling, you know, uh, just just the scarcity of happiness and just not feeling sad all the time was weird for me. And I just didn't know what to fucking do. When I wanted to do something constructive or when I had that energy, it was weird and I did destructive things. So, yeah. I mean, I got about another minute and a half because I have a lot of music on my phone, but I mean, major points. Bus coming. Peace. DNA for sure.